Good afternoon. You have arrived at the Holistic Chamber of Commerce event for today. And this one is going to be on intuitive and energy healing support. We have some amazing people here with us today, ready to share with you many details, many overviews, many reasons why to consider and utilize energy medicine and intuitive healing in your lives. So to begin with, I'm Deb Martine with the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. I'm the Director of Community Education. And we have next to me Cheryl Friedman, who is a special sponsor, and I'll be talking about her in just a moment. I think we have some all year long sponsors that I just really want to be able to highlight here for a moment today and thank them. So the first one is Natural Awakenings. They have been with us since the beginning here in Southwest Florida. Heather Phillips with Muscle Tuners International. Lotus Blossom Clinic, of course. I am with Lotus Blossom Clinic. I am a business manager, an energy healer, food is medicine, many things. And Zeta Global Radio, which is helmed by the president of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. That's Lainey Savante Wilkin. Today, as I mentioned, Cheryl is our special sponsor, and I want her to be able to share some things with you. First, let me tell you, she's a past life archaeologist. She's a licensed clinical social worker. She's been a psychotherapist for many years, and she's on the HCC, the Holistic Chamber of Commerce leadership team, very active in our social media. And so we so appreciate you, Cheryl, and would like to have you share just a moment with us before we get into the rest of the panel and these other amazing ladies.
Thank you, Deb. Yeah, I'm going to make this very short and sweet because these ladies have so much important information to share with everybody. But that's also why I'm really proud to be a sponsor for this particular panel. Past Life Archaeologist has a longer story to it, which I won't get into now. What I do is I work with modalities that I call spiritual stargates. And spiritual stargates are basically modalities that help you open the portals to information you already have deep inside you. You can find out who you were always meant to be, what your purpose in life is. And it's just, they're awesome for any part of your spiritual journey, whether you're just starting out or whether you feel like you're almost at that highly enlightened state. So they can help you solve problems, relationship issues. It's just, you can't even say how many things you can solve with finding your own inner wisdom. So that's basically what I do. And I've just recently shifted to that. I do a lot of past life regression, but this just tacks right onto that and opens it up beautifully.
Great. And Cheryl, do you have some upcoming events that you could share so people could learn more about what your realm is there?
Right, I do. And I will, in this event, I'll be expanding more on exactly what all this means. But I'm starting August 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Zoom. So it's very safe, social distancing. I'm offering a 4-hour seminar on the Stargate techniques that I use, finding your spiritual stargates, it's called. And it's going to be an interactive seminar where I take all the modalities I do, and we do some demonstrations with volunteers. And at the end of the seminar, everyone who's there, their name will be put in a drawing, and I will be choosing one person to receive a free 3-hour past life regression session with me on Zoom. So I will put all the details. I have a flyer for it and the contact information. I will put that into the comments. The flyer actually is a PDF, so all you need to do is click on the links and you'll be able to sign up for the session. And it's $47 for the whole seminar.
Great. Well, what an awesome opportunity, and just a few weeks away, so people have a chance to plan for that. So Cheryl, thank you very much for joining us. And just look for your comments and questions or whatever in the chat below. So again, for anyone who's watching, If you're sitting there with a Facebook post and you're watching us inside that post, you can make comments and ask your questions there. And I will go over there and look and see. I mean, people are, they're saying all kinds of things over here. There's so exciting with Mara. There's thank you, Cheryl Friedman. Your gifts are so appreciated. And we've got lots of people saying hi. So all this is great. Appreciate all of you out there. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to sit back and enjoy the wisdom now.
Okay, there we go. So let's dive into this, because what a beautiful and immense topic we have. And so I guess, Cheryl, I'm going to go ahead and send you. Okay, very good. There we go. So now I won't get confused about who I'm asking questions of, right? Okay. All of these ladies have so many years of heartfelt study, practice in helping people beyond the more commonly understood, beyond Western medicine and allopathic medicine, which has its place and has its absolute beauties. In fact, we have a nurse here on the panel with us. So it's wonderful when we can become an integrative community and learn beyond what may be standard, because we all know that we have at least 5 senses, but everyone knows somewhere there's a 6th sense, and are there some other senses? And how about, what do we understand about our bodies? We continually are learning about our bodies, all the energies that we operate with that can be measured, and some that maybe have not yet been measured in ways that are understandable to the common knowledge. So this is a beautiful and large, immense realm, powerful realm that we're going to dive into. And I'm going to start by introducing each of these ladies, and I'm going to ask them to tell you a little bit more about themselves. So we're just going to start going around to, first, Kat Udell. And Kat is a nurse practitioner. She's an energy medicine practitioner, and her business is called the Mind, Body, Spirit Clinic. So Kat, would you please say a little bit more about who you are and what you're doing?
Sure. Thanks, Deb. So I've been a nurse practitioner for the last 24 years. I've worked in internal medicine, family practice, emergency medicine, palliative care. And during that time of working with patients, I found that there was a mind, body, spirit connection to all illness. And that led me to quantum physics, which led me to energy medicine, which is what I'm currently doing at the Mind, Body, Spirit Clinic.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat, and welcome. Well, next to Kat is Anne Murley. And Anne is a Reiki and energy healer, a yoga teacher, and her business is called Cardinal Way Wellness. So welcome, Anne, who has just moved to Pennsylvania, and she's managed to fit us in the midst of painting her new house and many other things. What a beautiful journey you are on. Anne, tell us a little bit more about you and your practices.
Thanks, Deb, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you. It's fun to be here in this beautiful space that I've moved to and talking about energy medicine today. So yes, I am a yoga teacher. I'm an energy practitioner. That's what I call myself, more so than a Reiki master. But I am a Reiki master teacher, and I have trained quite a few students in Southwest Florida for sure. And I also am an intuitive. I'm a medium. I do all kinds of things in the energy realm, and I've been using all of those things for over a decade, and I keep expanding, and I think that's what we're supposed to always be doing. So again, happy to be here.
Thank you, Anne, so much. Let's move over to Joanna. Joanna is a longtime spiritual healer, energy healer. She's very much involved with a brand new project called the Food Healing Oracle Deck, which I love. Then there's sacred listening and sacred touch that she does. And she's a licensed massage therapist, and she also does cranial sacral work. So Joanna, please share a little more about yourself. Joanna, let's get you off mute. There we go.
That would help. Thanks, Deb. So it's really good to be here with all of you as well, especially talking about one of my favorite topics. You know, I came to energy medicine about 20 years ago after I became certified as a spiritual director. And that led me to the path of craniosacral therapy via my massage therapist license and studying with a shaman, doing sound healing, learning sound healing, and certifying over 100 people in tuning fork therapy and vibrational medicine. So I also am an intuitive reader and do the Akashic Records, tap into the Akashic Records, and have read tarot and oracle cards probably for the past 10 years because messages kept coming through. And while I was working on bodies, so it seemed like a natural progression. Once you open up, information comes in, and I am humbled to be a conduit for anyone's healing or gathering information for them to heal their hearts. And that is one of my passions, is to heal the hearts of many.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Joanna. Welcome. And Fee. Well, Fee, her given name is Phyllis, and we know her as Fee Brooks Leitzis. She has a master's in social work. She's a licensed clinical therapist, a Reiki healer, a hypnotherapist, and she's a deep imagery practitioner and internationally certified trainer of deep imagery. So Fee, please explain a little more about who you are, what you do.
Be glad to do that. Thank you, Deb. I'm also delighted to be here with everyone today. I am a artist, author, licensed clinical therapist for over 25 years, certified in individual and family therapy, hypnosis, and Reiki, and also have really focused the last 10 years of my practice on a process that I call deep soul imagery. It's a way of communicating directly with your inner energy, finding out what it needs to be balanced, flow freely, and for you to be healthy. I have found that that is really important and also really relates to what we're talking about today. So I'll be glad to talk more about that later.
Good, yes, and as we dive into these questions, so much is going to come out, be revealed, cause people to think and open up in different ways. And it's just, after many years at Lotus Blossom Clinic, we have been here in Southwest Florida for open as a business for over 13 years. And I've noticed over time, more and more and more, how critical it is to understand the underlying emotional and energetic structures that are influencing health in positive and in very negative ways. So if we really get to the root of that, so much becomes more easily healed, more easily moved forward and transformed. So let's dive in by asking this question as a real good kickoff. What is energy medicine and why does it work? And I want to start with Kat. Kat, would you please inform us?
Yes, well, I'm also very honored to be working with these incredible healers and the sacred work that they do. You know, the definition of energy medicine from the NIH is the harnessing of the body's subtle energy system to create wellness. If we look at ourselves as just big balls of energy, if you look at your hand under an electron microscope, it's a vibrating ball of energy. And if we're balls of energy, then we're certainly influenced by energy. Everything is energy. The rocks are energy. This system that we're on is energy. Everything has energy. And so when we bring energy into a system that is already energy, the system knows what to do with it, and it can help promote healing and wellness with patients. I know that there's a whole bunch of different types of energy medicine out there. Just a few of those would be acupuncture, Reiki, healing touch, craniosacral therapy. The list goes on and on. Aromatherapy, crystals, they all have energy that they can contribute to patients or clients' well-being. So there's a number of ways that we can direct energy into helping patients heal themselves. These are just a few of the examples. Everything emits energy. So if we're connected to the energy field of all that is, it makes sense that if we use different types of energy and vibrational medicine, that we can help patients to find a way to wellness along with their usual traditional medical therapies.
Wow, Kat. So what I heard you read from was from the National Institutes of Health.
Mhm.
So this is more established, Western medicine, recognizing the import of this work. Would you mind, Kat, reading that quote one more time, please?
Yes, so energy medicine is the harnessing of the body's subtle energy system to create wellness.
Beautifully said, succinct, and wow, that's so cool. I just love it when a plan comes together, don't you? Okay, so Kat has answered the question, what is energy medicine and why does it work? I wanted to ask Anne Murley to also address that same question.
Well, I love that Kat brought that in, that the National Institute of Health has, said that out loud, right? So we kind of made it there. For me, that Kat has said it all in so many ways, but I also, through yoga and my Ayurvedic training, right, we are all part of energetic. And if we are part of the universe and if we are all vibration and light, so that everything then that we work with and the things that we do for others in our energy practices, then that vibration is going to, of course, lead into helping others on their own healing path, right? As practitioners, we're not fixing, but we're holding space for that. And I think that's the beauty of the energy medicine is that we are just that conduit for the energy that's already existing in the universe everywhere.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Well stated. Thank you, Anne. Joanna, would you please address the question again? What is energy medicine and why does it work?
Well, I'll get into some a little bit more detail. When I am holding space or working on a client, my energy system and their energy system becomes connected, right? It's called triangulation, it's called am I saying that right? But it is when I connect with their inner wisdom and my energy field connects with their energy field, and I can see the subtle energies that Kat was talking about or feel when something's off or if there's a leak in the field. So we are a system, a biofield system. We have what we can see, what we can touch, what we can feel. We have the five senses, but we also are so much more than that. So when an energy practitioner taps in to this field of energy, as you said before, everything is affected by energy because we are energy. So how it works is that an energy practitioner or someone that has an intention, right? That's why long distance works as well. We can affect change in that field. And when our intention is pure and for the highest good of that person without attachment, right, to the outcome, then we can affect the change that is for the best and highest good of that particular client that comes in to see us. So I hope that helps.
Oh, yeah, that throws a lot more light on it. What we're doing is we're building and building on the concept and putting more and more onto the structure to understand the value of it. So, Dee, what would you add into the question, what is energy medicine and why does it work?
I think I really appreciate what everybody's already said, but the one thing I would add is that I'm delighted that we're looking at the innate ability that we all have. The human body is just amazing. And we have an innate ability to heal ourselves. We have an innate ability to balance our energy. And it's really, I think, particularly important in these times to be aware of that. So I'm really glad we're talking about this right now. Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, when you bring, Fee, you bring, all of you do bring so much experience, pragmatic experience to this thing that is otherwise a little more ethereal of a concept that not everyone is in touch with. One of the points that I would like to make with this that may not be commonly understood, but it is my understanding and my experience, that my pineal gland needed to be cleaned, if you will. So there was a film and chemicals and some of our even stress hormones, fluoride, these sorts of things can actually coat the pineal gland, which is also, in the middle of the head here. It's part of the whole third eye chakra. And when I began eating a certain food, and that food was raw cacao, chocolate, I ate the raw cacao for about 3 weeks, and things started happening. I started feeling my own life force energy. That was the first start, an awareness of the feeling of my own life force energy. And then people began showing up in my life at a pool that we owned a fourplex, and people would come to the pool. And one of them was the pool cleaner lady. She actually had, both of these people had a stomach upset problem, a nausea, and a headache. And I seemed to know what to do. Of course, I brought them water and chocolate. But then I seemed to know something about what to do. I knew just a little bit about some of the meridians for these things, but it was called to me to do. And my beginning of this was really something that was quite physically enhanced when my pineal gland was cleansed. It's just so amazing to me. So as we continue on with the discussion here, I know we talked a little bit, or Joanna mentioned for a moment, that there's this thing called distance energy. So I wanted to call on Anne for this one and talk about how is it that we can do energy healing at a distance.
Well, Joanna used the word, and I say it all the time. And I know some of my students are on right now with us, which I'm so excited to see their names. I use this word all the time when I teach. The word is intention. Everything in the universe is about intention. And then on top of the intention is trusting and having that faith. So now that I'm here in Pennsylvania, I could work on you while I'm here and you're there. And because if you know that the energy exists in the cosmos and energy is everywhere, then my intention is always, when I work on someone, I do the exact same thing when I work distantly as if you were in my office on my table in front of me. I will do the same exact thing. And we'll talk about it a little later, but you can use a proxy. Some people like to use a teddy bear on the table. I just energetically put people's hologram, if you will, out onto the table as I work, and I intend into that field. And it's the beauty of the divine source of light that creates that awareness of specific focus. And so the energy knows where to go. Where the intention goes, the energy flows. We all know that as energy practitioners. So,
Anne, there's something that I remember that Einstein said, and it was something about spooky connection at a distance or something like that. But he called it spooky because he couldn't really explain it except that there was plenty of evidence that it was happening. So spooky connection, he called it many, many years ago, 100 years ago, probably by now, almost.
He did. And I remember reading something about that. And in one of my meditations as a download, I got the word entanglement. And when I went on to look under entanglement from Albert Einstein, there was this spooky thing that if one particle is here and another particle is there, that they affect the energy. And he was talking about it as entanglement. And then it just opened up my heart to, well, this is how we do the work that we do. And that's how I can talk to my cross loved one or your cross loved one, or I can work on people that are here. And this just happened about 6 months ago where I started to really see that in a different way. Even though I've been doing distant for a long time, I got that word from spirit and I started to do some research on it.
Wow, wow. Does anyone else want to add into that thread about the distance energy?
Well, I would like to say thank you, Anne, for that word, because that's the word I was looking for. It's entanglement, right? And it's a quantum physics word and it like energy is everywhere. So, you know, even though we're on screens right here, energetically, we're all sitting together in a beautiful container because of this theory of entanglement. And it doesn't, it, you know, it's great for social distancing, even though I'd love to be in the same room with you beautiful ladies. I can still feel your hearts. I can still feel your beautiful energy fields. And that is the same with long distance healing. And I do like Ann does. I was taught a very long time ago about bringing that etheric field into my healing room, allowing that the etheric field of that person to be on my table. And when I do long distance cranio or I'm doing long distance sound healing, it's as if that person is right there. And there's really no difference. As a matter of fact, just for an interesting tidbit of my experience, is when I have done that, I get more medical information than I sometimes do when that person is physically in my presence. So people say, well, maybe the energy isn't as strong. Oh no, it's stronger in my experience.
Wow, pretty powerful. Anybody
Yeah.
else want to add in on that? I know there's somebody from the audience that does. It sounds like Abby is a very active healer. She said, Einstein said, time and space are modes of thinking. Think about that for a second. Thank you, Abby. And Abby, if you're in the local area here, wow, connect up with us at the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. Our meetings are the second Tuesday evening of every month, and they're online right now. So the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, Fort Myers, is where you'd be looking for it. And anyone else who's out there in the audience and wants to know how to connect up with us, that's a great place. We also have a very active Facebook page because hopefully some of you are on that today, right? So we've been talking about energy medicine, and we'll go kind of back and forth with things. The title of our panel today includes the word intuitive healing. So I want to come around to that and to talk to Fee first about talking about what is intuitive healing. Miss Fee.
Well, intuitive healing is related to energy healing. It involves the body's resources, the person's resources, energy, emotions, and unconscious intuition to promote healing. It's a very, very powerful. It can avoid illnesses. It's amazing what we know that we don't know, that we're not aware of. And it taps into our own natural healing ability. And I'm reminded when I hear intuition, particularly intuitive, the work that I do, deep soul imagery medicine, involves both energy healing because we focus in on the chakras, which are energy centers in our body. And we also use the deep intuitive knowing that we all have in our body from a deep state of relaxation. And current neuroscience has said that when you imagine, because that's what we're doing in the work that I do, imagery, when you imagine something with all your senses, the smell, feeling, touch, the brain is constantly replacing neurons. And the brain interprets that event in imagery as if it's really happened in your life. So I often think that, and it is true, that one session sometimes, when you change the neurons, replace old neurons, can change 100 different events that have been negative in your life. It's a very powerful tool, I think, intuition, as well as energy healing.
Amazing, amazing. Yes, I absolutely agree. And does anyone else want to chime in on this one, the intuitive healing component?
I will.
Okay, go, Kat.
So we know that our thoughts are energy, our feelings are energy, and as Buddha said, what we think we become. And so when we are in a state of joy or bliss or a feeling of good health, our thoughts and our feelings will promote that within our lives. We will start to have that kind of an experience in life. And when we are not in such a good place, as many of us are at this time, we're focusing on how bad things are. We start to attract those things into our lives. Is that entanglement that Anne was talking about and Joanna was talking about, that everything is interconnected. And so when we put those feelings and those thoughts out to the universe, that in itself is what comes back to us in an energetic and vibrational way. And so I think what all of us do is try to help people to change that frequency, to change that thought pattern in whatever way we can to help people to start to heal themselves by using our hands or yoga, meditation, or even sound and vibrational therapy is very powerful for helping people to change that. So I wanted to mention that the thoughts and the feelings that we have, it comes from a very intuitive place within us, this very deep, sacred place within us that we sometimes dismiss. I know I've done it myself where you get this hunch, you get this feeling, you get this thought about something, and then kind of say, and then you look back and say, wow, that was my inner voice trying to tell me something. And with that inner voice and that intuitive sense that we have, we can ourselves find a way to help ourselves heal.
Wow. And I just want to say, Kat, too, one of my very favorite recordings is on the Abundance CD, and it's a part of the Gulf Coast Meditations series. It's number 2, I believe, on that one. And that is a piece that talks about the cosmic connection. You take us through, and when Fee was talking about how we use our imagination and the brain knows it as reality. So what these meditations can do is help us with that. And Kat, you specifically address this issue of changing the thoughts and beliefs that will indeed take you into a different energetic pattern and attract a different energetic pattern, or the one that you're really seeking to. So that goes back to the word that Anne uses, intention. So it's very, very important for us powerful beings to know our intention, right?
Always.
Yeah. Yeah. So did anyone else want to add into intuitive healing?
I just wanted to say one thing. I love see what you were saying, and Kat as well. And we go back to this, and I think that this is something that I know I use as education, and I know I'm sure all of you do. But it's really bringing our awareness back to our senses, and this is where so many people are disconnected of using our sense of touch, our sense of taste, our smell, our sight, and it's so valuable to go back to teach our little ones that those things are so important that
Right.
when you're not outside and listening to the birds or seeing the birds or watching the resilience of animals or just watching water or all of our senses, but in our society that has got pushed away. And like your ladies are saying, we need to bring back teaching about our senses because they connect to our emotions and they connect to our nature, and that's our chakras, and it goes into this beautiful triangular energetic that I see all the time. And I've been starting to really create something around that. But our senses are where it's at.
Yeah, yeah. We've got to become aware first. I wanted to add in this comment from Cheryl. Intuition is within us all. We have soul collective memory and can definitely learn to access it. Thank you, Cheryl.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd like to add on what Cheryl just said, because I keep thinking of, how information comes into me through the Akashic records and even in a healing session. And it's always my desire and my intention to be able to tap into a higher intelligence beyond my own human intelligence, because the higher intelligence, there's a truth there, right? And so everybody
Yes.
can tap into this. It's just being able to kind of separate yourself, or maybe not the word is separate, but kind of rise above your own, stuff and tap into those higher fields. because then there's an all-knowing. Not that I'm all-knowing, but that higher intelligence is all-knowing.
Right. When we all, and all of us can tap into that, as you're saying, and when it starts to happen I remember when it first started happening for me, I was pretty awestruck. I felt so fortunate, and yet it was a strange new sensation. Wow. So, Fee, were you going to add something?
I'd love to. And that is that I want to pick up on that. We all have that intuition. We all have that knowing. We all have, I mean, that's where wonderful books come from. That's where artwork comes from. That's where, as a potter, that's where some of my best creations come from. I can have the intention, of thinking I'm going to make something out of this blob of clay, and suddenly it takes a life on of its own, and it becomes Medusa, or becomes something that I really need to make. And I think that's the thing. If we pay attention to that, again, the senses, and there's a wealth of information there. So I do want to stress to all the artists and everyone else that is tapping into that higher source.
Beautifully stated. Thank you for bringing that out, Fee. And I want to go to Joanna to ask this question. Do I have to believe in order for this type of healing to work?
Well, I have had many people on my table in the 20 years that I've been practicing healing touch and energy medicine. And I have had many skeptics that say, oh, this doesn't work, who have gotten up from my table after a session and said, oh my God, I've never felt so relaxed. I feel like I'm walking on a cloud. So no, they don't have to believe in order to be able to feel the effects. Now, I say that if somebody's completely shut down and definitely is not open at all, they might have a completely different experience. And usually I find that happens when there's fear there. When there's fear and they don't want anything to affect them, a person can close down. I've also worked with people that are so protected in their energetic field that I have to kind of coach them into, you can protect yourself, but protection and shutting everything down is two different things. So, the short answer is no. You don't have to believe in it for it to work.
Right. I'm sure all of us have stories like that. And someone got up off of the table and we had been using energy medicine or intuitive healing with them. And they're like, well, this changed about me physically. I've been going to see this doctor for 8 months and suddenly my symptom was gone after I left your table. What? Oh, well, that's so cool. That is that intelligence that's way beyond me, right? That I have been honored to tap into. And so all of us, look at the faces that we have here. These are loving faces. These are servants. These are in the bliss when they are giving their gifts. So thank you, ladies, for all being here and doing the work that you do and holding the light. At this time in our history, even more needed than ever, I would say. Wow. So, but in connection with talking about this and the belief component, what about the placebo effect? And I want to ask Joanna this one to start and then kind of go around and see what anybody else has to add. How do I know if it's just a placebo?
I always answer that question with, well, does it matter? If your body is being affected, it's just like when the doctor, gives you sugar pills and tells you this is going to heal your headaches. And that's all you're taking is a sugar pill or whatever they put in those pills. The mind is so powerful. The mind is so powerful, and it will create any story we tell it, because that's how powerful our minds are. And that's how energy works. That's how our bodies work. We can tell ourselves a really dark, negative story and totally believe it. as well as we can tell ourselves a story that this thing that I'm having done, I'm going to sit under a tree and I'm going to be healed from all of my ills, will help. Energy work is not a placebo. However, the people who say it does, I just, well, then what's the difference? Try it.
Yeah.
It could be exactly the placebo you need.
Right, right.
Right?
And my husband says this. Dr. David says this. I love the placebo effect. You don't have to poison yourself or cut yourself. Your body healed itself. We love the placebo effect.
Well,
And
I worked with wounded warriors for PTSD as a craniosacral therapist in Fort Belvoir in Virginia. And these Army guys, they didn't know what the heck I was doing, nor did they care. They just wanted to be out of pain. And so when they were able to feel that rest and relaxation response, the vagus nerve came up, they were able, that central nervous system just unwound and began to relax for them. They felt that healing effect, whether they believed in what I was doing or not. They could feel it. So to experience it is to believe it, I think.
there you go. There you go. I want to bring up Tamara, and then we'll go to Fee for a second. Tamara says, Joanna just balanced my chakras and read my cards. I couldn't be more grateful. Feeling so calm and connected. Thank you, Joanna.
Oh, thank you, Tamara. It was
And
a pleasure.
okay, Fee, what would you like to add?
I was just going to say, I don't think there is a placebo effect. I know with imagery, Dr. Benson, Thomas Benson, just did a recent study, and his study shows that 10 minutes of imagery on a relaxed level, the blood pressure and cholesterol levels drop.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not
measurable. Measurable. That's something measurable.
Yeah, it's always nice to have science back up alternative modalities like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, beautiful. Thank you for bringing that up. And now, Fee, I wanted to ask you a question. What is mind-body medicine, and how does it work?
Okay, mind-body medicine, and it really honors the connection. I mean, it's really what we've been talking about. It really honors the connection between the mind and its capabilities and the body's responses. And I think I would put a little slash in there, mind, body, spirit, because I think they're all interrelated and I think they're all important. And it taps into, again, the natural healing ability that we have within all of us.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's used in many ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people are saying, I agree that placebo can be a powerful therapy. And let's see, what does Marva say? Oh, that's Marva, yeah. Thank you, Marva. And Cheryl Friedman again, what the mind believes, the body acts upon. There
Right.
you go. There's truth. We're getting so many great comments. I can't keep up with all of them, but thank you guys for those. And as we continue on with some of these questions, I want to get into more specifics about some of the ways energy medicine is utilized. So I'm going to start with Kat on this. What are some of the ways? Say a little bit more about the ways, the methodologies.
Sure. I would like to comment on the placebo effect, having been in medicine for 45 years and seen how the placebo has been used in different types of conditions. Sometimes not in the best ethical way, I might add. But I had this patient who had metastatic peritoneal cancer, and her life expectancy was about a year. And she had surgery. She went through chemotherapy, and her family didn't tell her that the cancer was metastatic. They told her that she had cancer, but they took it out. And she's 5 years later, 85 years old, and still going strong. And so that mind-body-spirit connection that Fee was talking about is so clear, and thinking that this is the truth, that the body will react based on what you think and what you feel within the recesses of your mind and your body. So the question that you just asked me was, could you repeat it again?
It's let's see, where was
Oh, the
that?
different types. The different types.
Some ways, that methodologies. Yes.
So I think acupuncture, I bring that up first, not just because it's an A, but because I really feel that it has a great ability to take away pain as well in a very rapid way. And with acupuncture, I always recommend to my clients that they have also a hands-on type of healing that besides having the acupuncture, whether it be massage or it's yoga with meditation, or it's healing touch or Reiki. There's so many modalities out there that influence the energetic field that people can choose from. And you can have an acupuncture in the morning and have a healing session with Joanna in the afternoon. And then that evening go into deep imagery with Fee. And then maybe before bedtime do yoga with Anne. And you can do these modalities all in one day. And the cumulative effect of all of this will really escalate and your healing and the way you feel. At least, if nothing else, you will feel extraordinarily relaxed.
Right.
Exactly. But that's such a key point here. And what you're talking about is when people understand the value and begin working these things into their lifestyle, we're doing something 24/7 every day. There's lots of choices we can make, but that cumulative effect, wow. And the ability to keep our minds active as well as we're experiencing and learning new things, all of that is so beautiful. And the importance of anyone in a medical practice, and when they say something to a client, a patient, that whatever they say, they're very, very attuned to what the best thing is for that patient. Because particularly a lot of times people will hear the doctor say, well, you've got 30 days, and then they will have 30 days. But in this case, Kat, as you mentioned with that story, it just omitted one part of it. And the power of her belief kept her alive and living well longer than would have been the case had they told her, well, you have this kind of cancer, metastatic, and now you probably only have a few months to live. Well, she had years to live, and she was older. So beautiful. And that practitioner made a decision about what to say. And really, if you think about it, there's a lot of statistics known, but not a person is not a statistic. A person is a possibility. And so it's just to keep that in mind at all times, that there's always as an option, there's always possibilities. And then we all know too that we are finite beings. So these things are there. It's going to impact us some point in time. We will all cross over sometime. But when is the right time? And how long can we stay here, giving our gifts and being of benefit and having fun and joy in our lives? Let's go for it, gang. And I think that having these practices, having this knowledge helps us more than we know, because we're in it, and those of us out in the audience, I'm sure many of you are already using some of these practices. And to see and meet these ladies here, what else can you learn? And if you want to, I have to say this because Kat mentioned acupuncture a couple of times. If you want to have acupuncture, wow, it is an amazing healing strategy. It does things that I again, cannot imagine so many of the times. I've seen the magic of it for many years now. So Dr. David does offer a free consultation for anyone who wants to just learn about it, and that would involve him actually doing an exam with you. So we can always suit you up with that at Lotus Blossom Clinic. So I want to jump in now to talking about some of the credentials that may be important for an energy healer to have. So Joanna, back to you on that one.
Yes. I think that there are natural born healers. I really do. That people come into this planet and they already have these innate gifts. but there's so much more for them to learn. So, I wouldn't dismiss anybody's gifts ever with, I just say that in this era when you can take Reiki online and not even practice on a person, that it's important to at least kind of interview your energy practitioner. How much, how many years do you have? What's your background? Just like we would ask any professional that we go to, I think it's really important. You don't have to have a PhD or a doctorate. In fact, you don't even have to have a college education to be a really good energy practitioner. However, you do have to have one thing, which I think is the most important thing, and that is integrity. And your intention has to be pure. Your intention, again, Anne, your intention has to be where you are, and you use this word too, Deb, that you are in service. You're not in service to yourself. It may be the way that you make your income. However, an energy practitioner shouldn't be pushing that first. The very first information that you should ask is, what is your code of ethics? How, and get really referrals from other people. So get to know your energy practitioner, because unfortunately, being in this business for a long time, I've actually had to fix some people that went to someone who did not have the well, Anne knows this one, but that didn't have the right intentionality behind their work. They still had some unhealed ego imbalances or whatever. And that's not to put anybody down, but it's really important for the person that comes in that they ask some questions. And no person doing energy work should be offended by any of those questions, because that is a very savvy client that you have there.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to ask Anne Murley a question too, because we had discussed this. Is it okay to do energy healing or an intuitive reading on someone without their knowledge? Because this gets into the ethics component here.
Great question, right? We talked about this, and I talk about it all the time with my students and people that my teachers that I've learned from. Is it okay? Well, if we're going to go back to energy and talk about what energy is, would you be okay if somebody came up and put their hands on your body and started massaging you in the middle of a room? It's never okay. So now, are there extreme circumstances? Yes. I had a situation the other day. Someone texted me, and their mom is very, very ill, and she asked if I could do some healing. But what my intention goes to when I do that kind of work is, maybe it's a little bit more prayer centered than it is actually energetic healing.
Right.
So, or there's an extreme situation if someone's in a coma, which has happened to me, that I had permission from the parent that was in the room, and I was standing away, obviously, but the intention that I set. But to come up to someone in a room and say, hey, I see if you're doing a reading for someone, you're getting into someone's energetic field, and I don't think it's ethical. But there are those, right? It always depends. We go back to that word. But I think that we just need to be mindful, because if we're going to talk about energy medicine, we're manipulating subtle energy. It's not okay. I wouldn't let anybody come up and touch me. I don't want somebody in my energy field if I don't know.
Right. Well, what about using a proxy? That kind of goes along with this same topic.
It does. But there again, if I want to work on, say, Deb, I want to work on you, and I go downstairs and I ask my girlfriend if I could work on her right now through her, because you're somewhere, but you've given me the okay, I'm still not going to do it in an energetic way. Prayer, different. To me, prayer is a little different in the energy scheme, because it is prayer, but the energy healing with the intention towards healing someone or sending that energetic out there, unless somebody's aware of it, I'm not, that's just the way I am.
Great. I wholeheartedly believe with that. I'm sure everyone here would be on that same page. That I also want to talk about then moving into some practicality and start with Kat. What can people expect to feel during a session?
So I'll speak for my sessions. A piece of what I do has to do with being a medical practitioner. So I do offer people a physical exam as well as counseling and education about their health, as well as their diagnostic tests they might bring in with them. I do get a lot of those. But when I'm doing my energy work, the very first thing that people feel, everybody feels, is a deep state of relaxation. Just the act of beginning some energy work with patients will automatically put them in a state of relaxation. Using oils and using instruments, as well as healing touch and Reiki, I use all of those things, as well as meditation. Find that I've had patients, orthopedics is a big issue. A lot of orthopedic patients come in to see me with knee or hip or shoulder issues, and not really, like Joanna said, not real sure that this is going to be something that's going to be helpful because they've seen every orthopedic person in town and you know the story. And then get up off the table and say, you know, my hip does feel better, So there's a relief of pain that can happen. Patients who will come in pain, patients who come in with anxiety is a huge problem right now that we're seeing. And relieving patients' anxiety with different types of methodology that I use with healing touch, as well as with the instruments, the vibrations, and meditation and sound. So I would say the biggest one is a deep, deep sense of relaxation. Many people leave with a sense of well-being that they didn't have when they came in. I had one woman who has been treated for anxiety and insomnia and panic disorders for years, and got off the table and said, I haven't felt this good in years. So everybody's different. Everybody has a different experience with energy medicine, but basically that's what I have seen in my years of doing this, that deep sense of relaxation and a sense of well-being.
Beautiful, beautiful. Any other things that people could expect from a session that would be different than that, or expand on that from any of the rest of you? Go ahead, Anne.
The one thing that I always tell my students is that I want, or my clients, is I want to see this subtle change in them. I don't always want to see the big bang change. I want to see maybe that the next time that you're in an anxiety situation, that 2 days later you notice, wow, I didn't react that same way that I normally do. Of course, I want someone to feel great when they leave, but it's that subtle change over time. Because remember, we're talking about the subtle energy field. Mm-hmm. I want to see the subtle changes over time, or that you didn't get as angry with someone the next time that you were in a room with them, or someone brought their name up. Those are the things that I want to start to see with my clients in knowing that this energy work as a practitioner, that it's actually working with them, that their body and their, like Fee had said before, that neural pathway, those things are starting to shift in the energetic field.
Yeah, exactly. Fee, did you want to add in?
I'll be glad to. I agree. I think things shift. And in deep imagery, that's what I do right now, I see things shift in a single session. If the energy, it's based on, the work that I do is based on Carl Jung's theory of active imagination and the Eastern chakra system, so the energy centers, and the Native American tradition of looking to animals as messengers. So what we do is we focus in on the different chakras. And it sounds kind of strange, but we call forth from a deep level of relaxation. I would suggest that you call forth a guide, an animal from that chakra. And it's amazing that they do show up. These images do show up. And that animal that shows up represents that chakra energy. And talking to it, you can see what needs to happen, what needs to be done. An animal may show up in a cage and ask you, please let me out. It may have a thorn in its wing. And as you remove that thorn in your imagination, your energy changes. And many people leave with changes after a single session because I think it changes something on a cellular level. So, in addition to the subtle things, I think people notice this, and it's in a balanced way because we do all the chakras. So, I think people have an opportunity to see the changes themselves, both that next day, but also thereafter.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. I wanted to answer a question that Heather has. She wants to ask of the panel because she teaches energy self-care techniques. And we've discovered that these techniques complement other therapists' work and techniques. So I guess the question really is, could we use energy self-care techniques along with going to see Fee to do some deep imagery, along with going for cranial sacral, perhaps, with Joanna, along with going for some distance Reiki with Anne, along with going to do some energy healing, maybe some sound healing with Kat. Yeah, well, I would say yes. Anybody else have something else to say? So it's
definite yes.
the definite yes, yeah. So what Heather does, and you can look Heather Phillips up because she is also an HCC member, and you'll be seeing some more things coming out from her in the near future. So just watch on both the private and the public Holistic Chamber of Fort Myers pages and learn more about what she's doing, because these are self-care techniques. Like we can all do Reiki on ourselves as well. We can all go into meditation, and that is a self-care technique. This is another great self-care technique that's based on Eastern medicine and based on the Touch for Health system, and something that Heather and one of her partners has specifically kind of engineered that's quite powerful. She healed me of a strange muscle issue that I had in about 3 minutes. I'd been suffering for about 5 months with it, and in 3 minutes, boom, gone. So yeah, energy pathways and the use of that, and knowing how to use those for ourselves too. So as we're coming toward the conclusion today, I want to go to each one of you here, Fee, Joanna, then Anne, and then Kat, and ask you, what are any final comments that you have to leave with these folks? And what kinds of special things do you have going on, or special offers that you'd like them to know about? So Fee, let's start with you.
Okay. I think now more than ever, alternative modalities are so important. I think both in the pandemic, but also in our fast-paced life, stress is not going away. It's part of life. And I think it's important to know how to handle it. I think it's important to really trust that we do have innate healing, and trust that alternative modalities do work, because I think they can be very, very helpful. And also to discover our own innate healing potential that everyone has. I think that would be really what I want to leave people with. The other thing is that I do have a special, and it's a special offer through this August 2020. And it's a 2-for-1 special. That means you buy 2 sessions, and you can either have 2 for yourself, or you can share it and have one other person pay half, whatever way you want to do it. But it's a 2-for-1. The value is $200. The price now through August would be $80, $40 a session. Okay.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Fee. Thank you. Okay, Joanna.
Well, I guess I would like everybody to take away this simple thing, is that, and Anne said it before, where energy goes, energy flows. This has to do with your thoughts as well as everything else. So when you feel blocked or feel stuck, most of us go to that self-critic and really beat ourselves up. But instead, the next time that happens, try to take a breath, get in touch with your body, your senses, ground to the earth, and feel the body begin to lighten and expand. I mean, I would suggest that everybody goes to an energy worker as often as they get their car uh, oil change, at least that much, if
At
not more.
least.
But just for purposes of being on your own, remember to bring breath and attention and presence to yourself. Most of us are walking around with traumas, broken hearts, and unforgiveness in our beings. And so, if we could just learn to take a breath, go into that heart space, and feel that heart begin to expand, and just pay attention to the body. I do a body scan every night. I've done this for years and years and years. It's been part of my process, my practice, and to see where I'm holding on to, any of the events of the day. Where am I holding on to unforgiveness of myself? Where am I holding on to thought forms that are not serving me? Where in the body are they being placed? Because the body will speak first. You'll have a pain in the shoulder, a pain in the neck, your feet will hurt, whatever it is. And what pain is blocked energy. So if you make that a practice every night to go in and just release what is being held within that system for yourself, breathe within it, ask your guides, say a prayer that God helps you to let it go. This is just one simple thing that we can all do to not only help ourselves, but when we feel better, the people around us feel better. And so I'm all about, paying it forward. When I heal myself, my children are healed, my family's healed, the relationships that I have with others are healed. When I am unhealed and in my stuff, then and nobody around me can feel that, right? So work on your own process and help yourself to get free from some of these things that are really holding you back. The special that I have is $25 off any of my sessions. Right now, I'm still doing craniosacral therapy and energy work. I took some time off for the Food Healing Oracle deck, but for any readings that I have using the deck or whatever, just go to my website, which is joannasalerno.com. Look at my menu, and $25 off for the whole month until the end of August.
Till the end of August 2020. Okay. It's going to be a good month. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you, Joanna. So, Anne.
I think my first takeaway for everyone is go outside. Let's everybody just go outside and reconnect with our senses outside. Be with the birds, be with the animals, just really connect back to Mother Earth. And I think that that's what this time has been teaching all of us, is that we need to balance that yin yang energy, and it's time for us to come back into that energetic of that divine feminine that's been calling all of us, that more masculine energy. And I'm not talking about gender, I'm talking about quality now. It's about the quality of it. Is that more outward, and we're being invited to come back in. So where can we start to incorporate some of those things into our life? And a big thing for me in my practice, and what I try and share with a lot of people, is I know people get weird about the word pray, but I believe that we should change up our prayers. Figure out what prayer works for you. If you grew up Catholic and you love the Our Father, but you don't like the energetic around it because it feels patriarchal, change the words. There's no rules around that. It's that you're not going to, nothing's going to happen to you. Or go listen to the Our Father in the traditional Aramaic. I've been teaching myself a couple different mantras as a yoga teacher. I've been trying to go out and learn these things. So learn something new. Where can you bring devotion back into your life that's specific to you, what resonates for you? And if you are trying to figure out a different spiritual path, an energetic path, find something that resonates, and maybe just those different ways of listening to a prayer differently. Maybe you listen to the Ave Maria sung instead of saying the Hail Mary, or you come up with another prayer. Make up your own. What are you connecting to through your divinity? So I ask people to just go outside, listen to what nature has to teach you. What are you missing? And get inside. This is not an outside job anymore. I can't go to Deb for healing, or Fee or Joanna or Kat, and think they're going to fix it. I got to do it here inside of me. And that takes a lot. And sometimes we don't want to sit in it. I've been doing the same thing. It's been a really difficult move for me here with, just a lot of things going on. And it was uncomfortable to sit in some of it. But sit, I did. And, it starts to move. So I hope that people take away that be curious about everything. Be curious about everything. If you have some issues around the things that you learned when you were growing up as a kid, throw them out the window and start over and do something different. Take it out there and do what you need to do. So my special I was off the month of July anyway from my practice. Weirdly enough, last year I took the whole month of July because my husband's in Alaska and I was going to be there, and I'm not. And then I had a couple weeks off in August because I usually go down to the shore, to the beach in Jersey. So I really don't start working again until the end of August. So through the end of the year, I'm going to tell everyone, because I'm here and it's going to be distant, 10% off any session that you want to do. Just make sure when you email or you click on my website at Cardinal Way Wellness, you just say that you saw me here, and any session you want to book with me will be $10 off through the end of the year.
Very good. Oh, through the end of the year. All right. Thank you so much, Ann. All right. All right.
Thank you, ladies. It's been wonderful to be with all of you.
Beautiful. So, Kat, please, anything to wrap up here, leave the folks with, and anything that you have to offer?
Yes, thank you. I would like to address the fact that we all have been having a rough time with this isolation, with all that's happening with the COVID. People are forced now to really start looking inside, like Ann was talking about. And people are starting to, I'm hearing anyway, feel that they're not enough, that they're lacking in some way, or those childhood issues are coming up, or they're finding endings. Things are happening as an ending. I was talking with Joanna about this yesterday. I call it the beautiful destruction, so that the next leg of the journey could come through. We have to get rid of the stuff that no longer serves us, even if it's painful. And to just tell people that you're not alone, that there is hope, and that you don't have to be in a situation of feeling hopeless or not enough. You can reach out for some help. We all need to work on ourselves internally and work out through those issues. So we all need a little help sometime. Even the healers need help. So that's why I go to these people that are on the panel. They're amazing. So I just want to let people know that help is out there. People are recognizing that there are many people who don't have money right now, that are not working. Some people are losing their homes. And so I think we're all trying to be as great of assistance as we can to you. So for the remainder of the month, in the month of August, my services are going to be 50% off for anybody that's coming in, whether it's a new person or a person that I've seen before. I am working some online. I'm still seeing patients in the office. I'm with Lotus Blossom Clinic, and we're taking all the precautions that the CDC is recommending. We have air purifiers, we have masks, gloves, we're cleaning. So if coming into the office feels right for you or good for you, you can just give me a call, and I'll leave my contact information on the page that'll be coming up after the show. Again, an honor to be here with these incredible people.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And I see that Cheryl Friedman would like to say just a final word here. So I'm going to add Cheryl back in for a second. So Cheryl, what final words would you like to have for the audience? And you've seen the whole thing here.
Well, first I want to say thank you, because the information that we got today was just amazing. And my final thought is that if you really paid attention to what each and every one of these ladies said, they're all saying you need to go inside yourself. Everything starts to happen from within you. And if there's anything good that has come out of this COVID-19 experience, is that maybe people who hadn't taken the time to do that were forced to isolate and maybe start thinking about what they needed to do to start managing things themselves. So it was all just so important and needed at this time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Can I just say one more thing? Because I completely forgot this.
Okay, sure.
So every Monday night, except for this next Monday night, because Lainey and I will be teaching the class, Real Time Wisdom has an hour live show, like similar to this one. Sometimes we have a guest and sometimes we don't. And the information that our guests are coming out with, and that is coming in with Lainey and I sharing everything. So that's another place people can find me every Monday night at 7 p.m., Real Time Wisdom. And I hope that I see you all there.
Awesome. Thank you. And I just wanted to mention something very briefly that we have going on at Lotus Blossom Clinic. And some of the people here, Fee and Kat in particular, are a part of it. We have something, I'm just going to hold this up because it's easier. It's called Hope, and it is on August 29th. This is creating a personal health and wellness vision. And so if you're looking for information about that, it will be on the Lotus Blossom Clinic Facebook page, as well as on our website under the calendar of events, and many other places to come and be seen. It'll be posted, of course, on the Holistic Chamber of Commerce as well. So I am grateful to all of you who have been here in service in the panel, sharing your wisdom, experiences, the amazing work that we all know we are capable of doing and gifting to the world, for the special offers that you've given, for the heart that you give. And to all of you in the audience, we encourage you to connect in with us all. Those who have resonated, we're all going to be going, these people on the panel here will be going out to the comments section in just a moment underneath this Facebook panel, and we'll put in our contact information and our special offers. So I am very delighted to say thank you, and we'll see you again next month, the same time and channel, and we'll have another special panel to offer in August, and that one is on environmental stressors that affect our health. So I just, we're always rocking and rolling with something here. It's 2 o'clock, the fourth Saturdays, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So join us again, and blessings to you all.
Thank you so much.